concept cars, there are custom cars, and then there are automobiles that leave historians scratching their heads nearly 90 years after they were built. Today's machine belongs to that last category. Imagine walking into a Lincoln dealership in 1937 and finding a sleek new Zephyr sitting on the showroom floor, but instead of one elegant grille, it has two separate noses, two radiator openings, two hood sections meeting in the middle like the bow of a ship. It looks so unusual that many people assumed it had to be a factory experiment. It wasn't. It was the work of one determined inventor named Willard L. Morrison, a man who believed that one of America's most beautiful automobiles could actually be improved. Whether he succeeded is still debated today, but one thing is certain. Nearly 90 years later, the Lincoln Zephyr Twin Grille custom sedan remains one of the strangest one-off luxury cars ever created, and perhaps one of the most fascinating what-if stories in automotive history. To appreciate Morrison's creation, we first have to understand the remarkable automobile that served as its foundation. When the Lincoln Zephyr debuted for the 1936 model year, it represented a dramatic departure from traditional American luxury cars. While competitors continued building tall, upright sedans with separate fenders and exposed running boards, Lincoln introduced something that looked as though it had arrived from the future. The streamlined body was developed by renowned designer John Charder, while Lincoln stylist Eugene "Bob" Gregory refined the final production shape. The result was one of America's earliest mass-produced cars, with a true streamlined profile and an integrated steel body. At nearly 17 feet long, riding on a 122-inch wheelbase and weighing close to 3,700 pounds, the Zephyr looked substantial yet surprisingly graceful. Many automotive historians consider it one of the most beautiful American sedans of the pre-war era, and its influence can still be seen in automotive design decades later. Power came from Lincoln's famous 267 cubic-inch flathead 512, an engine unlike almost anything else available in its price class. Producing approximately 110 horsepower and around 186 pound-feet of torque, the smooth 12-cylinder engine wasn't designed to dominate drag races. Instead, it delivered effortless, nearly vibration-free performance. Drivers often commented that the engine seemed almost electric in the way it produced power, with very little mechanical harshness compared to contemporary straight-six or inline-eight engines. Fuel was supplied through a single downdraft carburetor. Power reached the rear wheels through a 3-speed manual transmission, and top speed approached 90 miles per hour, impressive for a luxury sedan during the late 1930s. The Zephyr also featured hydraulic brakes and independent front suspension, giving it surprisingly refined road manners for the period. Yet despite all these innovations, one engineer believed there was still room for improvement. That engineer was Willard L. Morrison, an inventor from Ohio who specialized in mechanical design and held numerous patents. Morrison admired the Zephyr's streamlined appearance but became convinced that its large single grille restricted airflow reaching the radiator. He also believed the wide central hood reduced forward visibility, particularly for shorter drivers. Instead of simply criticizing the design, Morrison decided to build an entirely new front end that would solve both issues at once. During 1937, he patented an extraordinary concept featuring two completely separate radiator grilles, each feeding its own airflow path, while a narrow central spine replaced the traditional wide hood. The result was unlike anything ever offered by Detroit. At first glance, the car almost appeared to have the face of two automobiles fused together. Some observers loved the futuristic appearance. Others thought it looked almost alien. Regardless of opinion, nobody ignored it. Creating the Twin Grille. Zephyr required far more than simply cutting the front sheet metal in half. Morrison redesigned nearly everything ahead of the windshield. The hood became two separate opening panels, one on each side, making engine access easier than on the standard Zephyr. The radiator support structure had to be completely re-engineered, while new internal ducting directed cooling air through the divided front openings. Morrison claimed this arrangement improved engine cooling while simultaneously reducing aerodynamic turbulence around the nose of the car. Whether those improvements were dramatic remains difficult to prove today, but they clearly demonstrate that the project wasn't merely an exercise in styling. Morrison genuinely believed he was creating a better automobile through engineering rather than decoration. Even the front bumper, hood trim, and lighting had to be modified, so that every component matched the entirely new design language. Perhaps the most interesting aspect of Morrison's invention wasn't something immediately visible from outside. In his patent documentation, he explained that narrowing the center section of the hood significantly improved the driver's forward vision. During the 1930s, the long hoods of luxury automobiles often created substantial blind spots, especially for drivers of smaller stature. Morrison specifically mentioned that improved visibility could benefit shorter drivers, making parking and maneuvering easier without sacrificing the elegant proportions expected from a luxury automobile. It's fascinating to realize that decades before backup cameras, parking sensors, or panoramic windshields, someone was already searching for practical solutions to improve driver confidence. That attention to everyday usability makes the Twin Grille project feel surprisingly modern. The car also carries one of automotive history's most unusual unsolved mysteries. Hidden inside the trunk is a heavy steel safe built directly into the vehicle. Measuring approximately half an inch thick, it wasn't a decorative accessory, but a serious security container. Yet no surviving documentation explains exactly why Morrison installed it. Some historians believe he stored patent drawings, engineering blueprints, and legal documents inside while traveling between investors. Others speculate that it held valuable prototype components or confidential business papers. There are even collectors who jokingly claim the safe still hides one final Morrison secret waiting to be discovered. Whatever its original purpose, the mysterious trunk safe has become one of the car's most talked about features because nobody can answer the question with complete certainty. Sometimes the unknown makes history even more fascinating than the facts we already possess. Although Morrison hoped his twin grille design might attract commercial interest, that opportunity never arrived. American manufacturers were becoming increasingly cautious as economic uncertainty lingered, and redesigning an existing production automobile required enormous investment. The standard Lincoln Zephyr was already selling successfully, leaving little incentive for Lincoln to adopt such a radical front-end redesign. As a result, Morrison's remarkable creation remained a one-of-one prototype, quietly passing through history while the automotive world moved in different directions. Ironically, many of the principles Morrison explored, improved airflow management, enhanced driver visibility, and easier engine access, would eventually become important considerations for future automobile designers. His solution simply arrived decades before. Manufacturers were prepared to embrace such unconventional thinking. Today, the Lincoln Zephyr Twin Grille Custom Sedan survives as a remarkable reminder that innovation doesn't always come from major corporations with unlimited budgets. Sometimes it comes from one determined inventor working alone, convinced he has discovered a better idea. Whether you see the Twin Grille as a masterpiece, an oddity, or a brilliant engineering experiment, it's impossible to deny its originality. Nearly 90 years after Willard Morrison reshaped one of America's most elegant luxury cars, people still stop, stare, and ask exactly the same question they asked in 1937. Why does it have two grilles? Perhaps that's the greatest compliment any inventor could receive. His creation still makes people curious. And if you enjoy discovering forgotten prototypes, one-of-a-kind customs, and remarkable vehicles that challenged conventional thinking, don't forget to subscribe to On Wheels, because there are many more incredible automotive stories waiting just around the next corner.